And welcome back to my SQL connector tutorial. Okay, now I'm going to exit out, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go straight into my SQL server here, there, and I will create a database. So let's come in here. You see where we have the schema, that's the schema there. Click on the schema, and I'm just going to call it connector. That's it, and that's what I'm going to call my table as well. So that's the database called connector. Click on apply. Now the schema is created. Click on apply again, and that is it. It's successfully created. Click on finish, and let's look for my connector. That is it right there. Okay, now right click on the table and select create table. There we go. Give my table a name. The table's name is called connector, and you see this arrow here, drop it down. Now the very first field that I'm going to enter in there is going to be my, let's just call that ID, and that ID I'm going to leave it as integer. Now I'm also going to make it primary key, which is now going to be known. It's going to be unique, and it's going to increment automatically. Now underneath here I'm going to create student ID. This ID is generated automatically. The student ID will generate that. So I'm going to make it primary key, and it's unique as well. And in here we're going to have first name, underneath will be surname, then we have address, and after that we have, after the address we have postcode, and below the postcode will be the telephone number. There. So that is fine. I'm going to leave my data type the way it is, and let's come in here. Okay, this we could just make the post, no, telephone. Where's the telephone? It's not there. Telephone, press enter. Okay, that's that. We can just make that integers, or let's see if there's any other thing that we can use. Okay, I'm going to leave it as variant. Let's make that 20. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I think the rest is alright. So I'm now going to click on apply. There we go. So that's my table now being created. Click on apply again, and just make sure everything is correct. I have 6. Yeah, that's correct. With this making 7. Click on apply and click on finish. There, my database is created, and that is it right there. If I come in here now, I can always view my table. That's my table there. Okay, minimize that. Okay, back to the system. I'm going to come right up here, go to the source code, and right at the top here, okay, right underneath here where I have the public class, the name of my project extent, I'm going to get rid of all of that, and let's enter private, and that is going to be static final string. Static final string. That should be okay, string, and that would be my username, and username equals root. Put that, enter that in a quote. There, that is my very first one taken care of. Now I need password. The next one here is going to be password, and the password, I'm just going to call that, as the password on my system is going to be CKK CKECCY2. Yeah, CKECCY2. Yeah, that's correct. And in here, the database name, that must be the name that I call my database, and that is connector, I believe. Undo that. That should be connector. Yeah, that's it right there. Connector is called. Copy that, and I'm going to paste that right in here. There. So in the case of the database, the name, oh, that should be database. Let's change that to database. Data connect. Okay, data connect, that's fine. Alright, now this data connect, I'm going to ask it to be connected by JDBC column MySQL column / localhost. Yeah, localhost. And column my port is 3306 / there. Okay, now that that is done, let's take care of the connection itself. Come down here and just say connection. I'm going to call that SQL con. That will be nothing for now. And the next one is going to be prepared statement. Prepared statement. I'm going to call that PST equals nothing again. And finally, I'm going to call result set. I'm just going to call that RS equals none. There. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, since the connectors are created, I'm going to come right down here. I think right underneath here, I'm going to create, I'm going to create one function there. Let's put double lines in there. And I'll just call that function. I'm just using those lines to know where my functions are. There we go. End function here. Right, and in there, I'm going to start by saying public void. Let's call that update DB. There. And let's close that. Drag it down a little bit, and there. So that's the name of my function. I'm going to start with try catch statement, and the first thing is I'm going to call the class dot for name, and the name is going to be, so I'm going to just use MySQL. That will be dot JDBC dot driver. So that is to initiate my driver in. Now what else do we need to get? I'm now going to use my variable that I declared up there, MySQL con equals driver manager, and the driver manager dot get connections. Sorry, I am not in C#. A C# game, get components. So in this case is get connection. So it's going to be data con username and password. Those are the components that's the system we have to get there. Now the next thing is I'm going to say prepared statement equals SQL connect dot prepare statement, and the statement is going to be MySQL statement select all with the star from connector. I believe that is the name of my database. It's called connector. Yep, let me verify that here. Yeah, that's it, connector. Let's copy to make sure there's no error in there. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, now that the connector database is in, now let's say rs, which is the results, equals prepare statement dot execute the query, enter, semicolon, then result, let's say result set metadata, so I'm going to call that stdata, and the stdata equals result dot get metadata. There. Now that is done. The other thing I'm going to have a look at is, let's say, let me just create something here. I'm going to call it q equals, but in that case I'm going to have to declare that. So let me go right up there and just declare that, and the others there. Yep, that is those variables are declared. I'm going to come back in here and I'll say q equals the stdata, and that is going to be dot get column data. Is it column data or column count? Column count. There we go. And I'm also going to add a default statement for my table. Default, that will be table model equals record table, and this record table equals, let's say, table model. And the name of my table is called J table dot is JTable 1 dot get model, and the record is going to be dot select row. Copy that. This one press enter, paste that, and that will be dot set row count to 0. There we go. There. Okay, I'm now going to use while statement here, while iteration dot next, close that, and that is going to be as a vector column data equals new vector. Okay, we have a new vector there, and let's use another loop statement for I equals 1, comma. If you guys remember, I declared that right up there, QI, ID, and delete item. Those are my database those are my variables declared up there. Okay, I equals, that's less than and equals to Q, In that case, I equals ++. And let's open another curly braces. Now inside this curly braces, that's where I'm going to enter all my data. So come right down here, paste that in there. The very first one is going to be .add, and that is going to be just the ID in this case. So, and the object is going to be rs dot get string. Yeah, and the string, that is going to be the ID. Let's make it ID and enter semicolon there. And the other one is going to be student ID, and so on. So we'll grab this and then just paste 6 of those and copy and paste again there. Okay, now just like the database is named, so let's see how they are named. Here they are. So I'm going to have to name it just exactly the same way. So if we come in here, we can select this. Now we see everything properly. You'll come right in here. Okay, student ID, first name, and so on. Okay, minimize that. So this will become student ID. ID. I think that should be uppercase. Yeah. First name. Z uppercase. Surname. We have address, postcode, and we have telephone number. Telephone is called, it's not telephone number. Okay, those ones are in place now. There, and here we're going to now have the record table dot row. Grab that. We'll come right down here. Where is it? Right here. Record table dot add rows. Okay, that row is going to be whatever I have inside column data here. Grab all of those and just enter it in there. There. Okay, that is taken care of. Now the next thing I want to do here now is I'm going to now enter my cache statement in there. So that's a cache exception EX, and whatever statement I want to enter in there. So let's go for J option plain dot show message if there's any error. Show message. Show message dialog. Actually, just double click on that. Show message dialog, and that is going to be null, and the message is going to show come from the system itself. So that takes care of that. Right. So that is my function. So if you notice, all the errors are gone now. Let me show you guys the function again. This function will officially connect the database straight onto my system itself and connect every single component. So have a good look at it. Take it from the top, bring it down and down and there. Now let me go to my add button first. Let's come back in here. I'm going to close this. It's rotating. Come here, add button, right click on my add button there, event, action, and action perform. So right here, let's get rid of that. First of all, I can always copy one or two lines of code in here. Let's come in here and just grab this try catch, grab it up to here, right up to there, copy that and come right down. There we go. Paste, and let me cover that up here. Alright, so what do I need to do? I have this in place. That's fine. Then my connection statement is there. I need to connect all of this. Now the connection dot this, I want you to insert. Okay, insert into that's the name of my database here. And what am I inserting into this database? That is going to be as follows: my student ID, comma, first name, surname, address. I'm going to enter comma and press enter there. And what else do I have? I have address, then I 1, 2, 3 postcode, comma, then I have telephone. There we go. Okay, now that those are in, I'm now going to use my prepared statement here. Prepared, or the prepared variable dot set string, and the string, the very first one is going to be comma. That's going to be JTXT first name, no, student ID, and dot get text. That's the very first one. There. I'm going to copy this one. No, I can just copy it all. I need 5 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the next one is first name. Grab that, dump it right there. Surname, there. Address, right here. Postcode, here. Then finally we have the telephone. Copy and paste. There we go. Now that that is taken care of, now let's get it executed. So I'm going to say the prepared statement, we want it to get executed. Dot execute the query itself. No, it's going to be execute update. It's not a query. Dot execute updates. Yes, updates. Yeah, right. So enter semicolon. Now I'm going to use a message box or a message there. So let's say JTXT, no, not JTXT, J option plain, J option plain dot show message. Show message dialog. And what message are we going to be showing, or do we want to show? Let's say this. What's the name of my system? Student record. Okay, let's say student. Let's say record added. Record and I will now call my function that is called updatesDB. I think that's the spelling DB, and that is the very first function I created right up there. I've just called that function now. Then now use cache statement here, and right there, guys, just use the cache statement. There we go, and that takes care of the add data. Okay, well, we could have ended up with an error here, so let's change that to 1 2 3. That's the problem when you copy, because I've copied that around. And here also I'm going to have to specify the value that I want in there. Okay, so let's come in here and just enter value, and that is going to be, let's go for as follows, comma, I have 6 of those anyway, that's 4 5 and 6, and close that up here. Right, okay guys, let's try this out. I'm going to compile and run. Let's see, it's coming out, run, then we take it from there. Okay, ID, and the name is, let's say it's Mary Hollyway. Address, let's say John Way, London. And telephone number there. Let's click on add. There we go. Click on OK. It's working, guys. That's my second record, he said. So let's go to my database and refresh. Okay, that's it, that's correct, it's working, and it says second record. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to minimize that. Let's change this around. I'm just going to change that to, and change the name here to Tony Montana. Yeah, I will change that to number 17, Little Venice. London. And get rid of this as well. Oh, I could have just do that with my reset button, because that works. There, and click on add. Yeah, record number 2. Let's see, that should be, and refresh, come in here, refresh. There we go, look at that, guys, it's working. That's good, that's very good. Alright, so I want to minimize that, and we can clear that. Clear works. We can now exit. Yeah, okay, now let's come in here. So we've got this working, this is working. I will now need just to take care of 1, 2, and 3. So let's take care of the update first. Double click or right click and select there. So in the case of the update, I'm going to copy every single lines of code inside my add new up to here. Copy that, and I will add that here. This will be right here. Paste. And all that we need to do now is just to change the SQL statement in here. So I'm going to start by just, let's get rid of all of these first. let's do it from here, there, and just change that to update. Update. My database's name is called connector. Update connector, I believe it's called connector. States student ID equals question. That's the very first one, comma. The next one is going to be first name equals, comma, and surname equals comma as well. I will then enter that, press enter, there. And the next one is address equals question, comma, followed by postcode equals, and finally telephone equals question, where ID itself equals question as well. There, and that should take care of my update. And there guys, so maybe we can now change this to record updated. So come in and just change that to updated there. Alright, so okay, let's run it and make sure there's no error. So run, and I'll click on the update, though nothing will happen because I do need some data in here to update. So if I click on that, nothing is going to happen. Okay, well, I do need some data in here so that I can get those updated. But for now, I'm going to call it the end of the second part of this tutorial, and I'll see you guys shortly.